good to get out here and get this work against a different defense. Certainly thoughts and prayers are with Rondale. Not really sure what's going on there, but hoping it's not too serious. But thought the 2 days were effective. It's really important to see different looks. Just seeing, different nickel pressures, corner pressures, coverage structures, fronts. It creates a lot of good conversation. The meeting time after these practices is very productive to talk through it all. And just good to get to work. I mean, throwing to Kyle and Drake and Mooney and Ray and on and on and on. Bijan, Tyler. It's just been good work. And we got to keep stacking days, but these were 2 big days, and I think we took full advantage of them. And it's also good team time, to have some time now, tonight, tomorrow, maybe go out to dinner with some guys and just spend time getting to know one another. We'll try to take advantage of that as well. So take any questions you have.
Kirk, talk about the.
Did you see what happened around there?
I didn't. I was further back. And was just kind of getting my thoughts ready for the 2-minute period, and so don't really know what happened.
Kirk, take take fans to the communication part of it. I saw one play you moved 4 or 5 different guys in a particular play.
Yeah.
But just how important that communication is, especially going against somebody else right now.
Right.
How important it is to get that communication.
It's very important. The play clock probably would have gone to 0 on some of those. So that's where you're saying it's practice. But yes, they were giving us some tougher looks, and we needed to get into the right protection and have the right plan. And so just had to kind of talk through it. But for the most part, I think we were sharp, and I thought we got rid of the ball effectively and got completions, and guys made plays. And so I felt good about the operation, but you also feel like there's still too many incompletions or negative runs or miss IDs where we can be better.
Kirk, follow up on that. I believe maybe this is a plain question, but it was kind of an out route to Kyle where you moved Bijan right into the A gap.
Yeah.
To kind of pick up some pressure. Can you walk us through kind of what you saw in that play?
Yeah, it's a blitz that's very common in the NFL where the linebackers are going to go to both A gaps and have to have a plan to pick up that pressure, and it's one that you'll see all year long. And so just trying to execute what we're being coached to do in that moment, and also you're always trying to undress when you're being fooled, and so it's, hey, they may line up like that, but if they're not pressuring, is there a way to figure that out? So you also kind of go down a rabbit hole a little bit of saying, I see what they're doing, but am I getting false information?
Kirk, what's it like from your perspective to sort of see the competition that's going to take place for this preseason game? Guys trying to earn their spot on the roster. You yourself probably going through it back in your days in Washington, but to see it from your perspective, see that other side, what is that like to kind of maybe talk to these guys like, hey, this is what the competition part's all about?
Yeah, the preseason games are an interesting challenge because we don't put the time in to be ready. And so it can disadvantage the guys in there knowing that they didn't really get the opportunity to be as ready as you'd want to be, and yet you are getting the chance to play. And so you want to make good on that chance. I was a 4th-round pick, so I was a guy playing, the second half of preseason games my rookie year with a lot of down-the-line guys like myself, and so you're kind of figuring that out as you go. But it can be a fun challenge, too. I remember after my first preseason game, my parents came, and, it's the first time playing the NFL, and I remember saying to them after the game, I said, I had a lot of fun because you're just able to play football. There's not as much riding on a regular season game, or in a college game that you're starting. So you really just get to play the game that you love, and I think that's a real positive to these preseason games, and that's what I remember.
I'm surprised you say that you feel like there's not enough time for the preseason game. Why is that? What do you feel?
Well,
like
I think like these practices, a lot of guys who are playing the preseason game probably aren't getting a ton of reps in practice. Not all, some of them are, but not all of them. And then the ones who are getting reps are probably out earlier in the preseason game than the rest. And then, we'll spend time tomorrow talking through the plan, but the plays we're running are not going to be the world's greatest football plays. They're going to be pretty straightforward, and at times that can make it a little harder to get open or to do what you want to do. But many times the defense is the same way. They're going to play pretty straightforward defenses. Now you can get defenses that don't do that, but it's just kind of a line up and play and sort of see what happens is kind of the approach.
Is there a position group? Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a position group battle that you're most looking forward to seeing out there?
No, I just think there's competition everywhere all the time. The reality is when you make the team, you really don't make the team because there's 31 other teams that just released a whole bunch of players who now became available. So I don't think anybody in this league ever really feels like they've got it figured out or that they're not competing. I think we all go to practice every day saying, I've got to prove that I'm the best option for this organization at my role. And I think that's part of what makes this a great league, is that nobody's coasting. Everybody's working and trying to earn it every day.
Kirk Roth talked about having a quick whistle on you at times.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
And you scaring him about running.
Yeah. Have you tried to kind of push the envelope a little bit to see how you feel moving
Yeah,
in certain
well,
spots? I know you got hit up
Yeah,
at the
you
dance too.
and you know, as a player, like, you got to take off and run sometimes. People are going to be covered. An offensive lineman might get edged, and so what I don't want to do is train my instincts to sit back there all day and go through my reads and be a pocket passer, knowing that too many times it's not perfect, and you got to go take it off and make a play. So I tell coach, hey, I understand your desires to protect me. I'm protecting myself, but I do have to train my instincts that when the best decision is to run, I got to go. And I don't want, week 1 against Pittsburgh to be the first time I do that. So it's a balance, and we'll keep finding that balance.
Kirk, we'll talk about the play to Pitts. He had a couple of really big plays today. He uses physicality to come down with the ball. Is that the best way that you see Pitts contributing in the passing game?
Well, I think what he has, a couple traits, he can really run, and those guys don't grow on trees. And then he's got length, and as a quarterback, that's really, really friendly. And so, what I'm encouraging him with is to use that length as much as he can. Anytime he lets the ball into his body, I tell him that wasn't good enough. You should never let it come into your body. You're too good to let it come into your body. So I challenge him with that, and then I challenge him. I don't feel like he's running as fast as he possibly can. I say, that wasn't good enough. It was fast enough for a lot of tight ends, but for you, it got to be faster. And so I'm always say, did you run as fast as you possibly can, and did you snag it with your hands aggressive? Those are the two things I challenge him on, because I said if you do that, the production can't help but happen. And so I'm just always looking for opportunities to get him running and then give him that ball where he can go snag it.
So then I got to ask, what are you telling Drake London? Because he's the same type of physical type of guy, and we know that he's long as well.
Yeah, Drake today he uncharacteristically dropped. I'll call it a drop. It was a very contested ball over the middle. And when I thought he caught it, and I thought, holy cow, he caught that ball. And then it popped out, and he came. I thought I said, hey, Drake, if you had caught that ball, I would have told you you have the best hands of anybody I've ever played with. I said, but you dropped it, so you're going to have to earn it now. So he was laughing. I said, but there's still time. So I think he has tremendous natural hands. I think he's aggressive. I think that he plays big. I played with a guy in college named BJ Cunningham, who's one of my favorite teammates ever. And I told Drake, I said, you're the first-round pick version of BJ Cunningham. And I said, I really enjoyed playing with BJ and his style of play. You have a similar style, and I just think that bodes really well, and I'm excited to get you the football. And so he put on another great 2 days, and it just continued to pick up where he left off in the stadium practice.
How much did these past 2 days really help you gauge where the offense is, and how many notes did you take because of that?
Yeah, a lot came up. I say, what do we do? Where's this look? And, oh, you want that? Okay. So a lot where, without having these practices, we might have been not aware of some of the things we want to go to offensively. I think the intensity picked up a little bit, which honestly bothered me a little bit. I said, if the pace of practice picked up, then what does that say about the previous practices? We've got to be at that level all the time. So that would be my challenge when we go back to Flowery Branch. We got to practice at this pace regardless. And so that'll be an important point of emphasis, but good 2 days.
Coach said he didn't want to see any fights, but y'all had 3
They're inevitable, yeah.
He had to come and address the troops.
Yeah.
What was going on there?
Yeah, I think the last one was kind of a trying to, like you said, address the troops and get everybody to stand down. But it's inevitable, I feel. Every time I've had a practice like this, the key is that we still get our work in, that we don't have to truly split up or cancel the practice. And so it's the extracurriculars, it's the second shove that tends to escalate it. And I was glad that we were able to get our work in, even though some guys still have to kind of peacock and stick their chest out a little bit.
There was a moment with the twos where it was kind of on the left boundary, and it looked like there was about a 5-yard cushion on a go ball, but the receiver stacked the corner, and it was kind of thrown still wide. But on that play, would you want to throw it on kind of a line because of the positioning on the receiver?
Yeah, I'd have to see the tape. I think you definitely. I think it's a difficult catch to track the ball to your outside shoulder. So I think when you want to be able to catch it here or here within reason. The time you want to bring him out is when the DB's on top and inside. I don't know if you guys saw, A.J. Terrell picked me off at practice on Monday. and he was on top and inside. And I threw the ball. If it was routes on air, it was a perfect ball. But it wasn't routes on air. A.J. Terrell standing right there, and so I came to Mooney afterwards and I said, Darnell, it's going to be a tough catch, but the ball to throw is here. It's going to make it look like I threw a bad pass. But I said that's where the ball needed to be. So there are moments where you want to do this or you want to do this, but depending on where the defender is, it changes the entire thought process of where the ball needs to be placed.
For a lot of the guys that are going to be playing their first NFL game or getting into the game, getting this opportunity in a while, do you remember what that was like, the nerves?
I remember it so well.
What would you tell yourself, whatever many years ago, whatever it was, what would you tell these guys?
I remember it so well. I remember going to Buffalo, and I remember thinking, well, if they cut me, I got to wear an NFL helmet for one game, and it was a dream, just to be out there. And I remember my parents were in the stands, and I thought, we've come a long ways here, to the NFL with my parents watching me all these years. So it's a big memory for a lot of these guys. For me, it was. Got to play the whole second half. I remember I went in at the end of the first half. My first drive in the NFL was a 2-minute drill. And I remember Kyle Shanahan said in the headset, how you feel? First drive, 2-minute drill, here we go. And I remember Sean Merriman was playing, and I thought, man, I've come a long way if I'm going against Sean Merriman. So went down the field. We ended up winning, but 7-6. So it was not a, productive game, but we moved the ball, and I had fun and got a lot of things covered, and it was a good memory.
Do you want to play? Would it help ease any remaining worries possibly with your injury?
Yeah, I think it's a calculated deal of, if you could promise me I'm coming out feeling no worse for the wear, absolutely. I'd love to play all 4 quarters. But the reality is that you can't promise me that. And so you have to be calculated and say, hey, risk versus reward. Let's get all we can in these 2 days, and then we'll protect you is really the thought process. And it has been around the league now for a while. And I got to get as many mental reps as I can, standing there with the earpiece in, looking at the coverage and trying to make sure that I'm saying to myself, okay, I go to the scout route there. Okay, I'd throw the sit. Okay, I'd progress backside of the base. Okay, get to Bijan here. So you're kind of playing the game from the sideline as you're watching.
I want to say that Mike mentioned that he's on your street now.
Yeah.
What is neighbor Mike?
Too, yeah.
Really? What's neighbor Mike like?
Yeah, it's a Falcons neighborhood because we got Ledford there. I got Richard Seymour, a Hall of Famer, a few houses down. So we kind of I'm hoping with Richard Seymour's presence kind of rub off on me a little bit with his success. Matt Schaub's down the street. So we've got a few pro athletes in there, some baseball players and stuff, which is fun. It's a great community. And, I would tell you it's easily the nicest place I've ever lived in my life. I remember when my parents came to visit, we drove through the neighborhood and they said, oh, we didn't know it was this nice. Like, this is a really nice neighborhood. I said, yeah, it is. So we feel blessed to be there.
Kirk, how's the offense as far as adjusting to it? Is it a lot like what you ran in Minnesota? What's Zach doing?
Yeah, there's similarities, certainly, which I'm grateful for. But there's enough differences where you say, oh, you don't want me to do this? Because Kevin wanted me to do this. No, here we're going to do this. Okay, I got to rewire my brain. So there's a mixture where you say, that's just like I did it. And then there's a lot where you say, like today, I pulled the ball back on a throw that they said, throw that ball. And I said, oh, see, I didn't see it right. And they said, no, we want you to hit it sooner. I said, oh, okay. I always thought it would come out later. So there's things that are still happening where we got to get caught up to speed. And we got to get to a place where it's like we've had 10 years on task when we haven't. And every day we're closer. And so that's the challenge.
All right. Hey, Grady, what you saw Rondell? I guess Tori tweeted out was Rondell. What happened at the end there?
Not sure. I was on the other field, man. Just saw everybody down praying for him. All we could do is wish him the best, man, and just hopefully everything work out. But just waiting on more information like everybody else.
How tough is that, given, y'all were working out, having a pretty good workout, and you ended on a...
Yeah, it's always tough. Always tough when you see a player go down. It's just unexpected, and it's just heartbreaking. Not much of a heartbreak like it. When but first and foremost, you always worry about just the person well-being, and that's the thing what we all worried about right now, regardless of the work and practice schedule. We had some good work, but I think everybody on both sides just wanted to be healthy.
And how did the work feel for you out there today? Looked like y'all were having pretty good work with the ones against their Dolphin offense.
Yes, sir. We had some good work both days. Today was another good one, hot day. And but I mean, just two teams, two organizations that got high respect for each other. I say that why we come down here about every year. I mean, the past 4 years, huh? So I mean, they run a world-class program, as do we. So it was very, very professional, very highly competitive. Got to go against some great skill, and just thankful for the opportunity, to go against another team as we prep for this season. So definitely 2 good days of work.
What's the biggest challenge about going against them?
I think the biggest challenge is the unknown. Every year. There's new wrinkles to our offense and new players added, new players gone, new offensive line, not familiar with certain guys, but that's also refreshing because in training camp, it breaks up the monotony of, going against the same teammates, knowing what you're going to see every day, and then also going against new opponents and new lineups, different lineups that each team will present every day. So I think that's part of it, and just responding to the unexpected.
Grady, talk about the communication that goes on between you guys up front. Everybody talks about the communication that goes on offense, but up front, you guys got to communicate just as much. Talk about that.
Yeah, man, definitely communication is important, whether we run a pass rush games or certain fronts we got to be, whatever personnel may be called or whatever run front is called. A certain formation can have us in a whole different look with the same call. So just communicating across the front, from the backers, DBs, everybody got their own language per se, and we just all got to be on the same page, because if you're not, you can get gashed in the run game. And but if you are, then things can work out how it need to work out. So communication very key.
From a fan perspective, how much goes on between each and every play between you guys, backers, all the way down the line?
Every play, there's always some form of communication. Whether you set in the front, or setting a blitz call, or whatever it may be, or setting a rotation from the DBs, there's always communication, and it has to be, because as a defense, we don't know how the offense is going to come out. So you can be in, they could be 21 personnel and give you a whole spread look, or they can be in, 05, something like just receivers out there, and they can come in a running back look. So you got to be able to adjust in whatever they give you, and that's why communication is so important.
Did the past 2 days give you a better idea of where this defense is at, especially going against a different team?
I think it definitely gives us a look. I don't know if a better look is the word.
Okay.
I think it gives us an uncommon opponent to go against, not knowing what to prepare for. And so how we just play our rules, how our principles apply to just defending an offense, and defending different type players than we have. So I think it gives us a good look and a good baseline to continue to build through this training camp. And as we continue to play the games through the preseason, get the right matchups of everybody on the field, the right combination of guys and certain personnel, we'll be able to really iron out how we want the defense to look. But it definitely gave us a lot to look to, and but not sure if this just going against them answered our questions.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So definitely got a lot more work to do, but we happy for the work we did get.
What are some of those takeaways that you want to tweak now and have learned?
Seeing where maybe some runs hitting us, where we're vulnerable, where we having success. Are we manipulating their protection with certain looks that we give them and blitzes that we bring, and just seeing how the principles of football work, and we setting it up right and execute what we need to execute. So I think we got a lot of good work in, and we're just going to continue to build off of this.
Your thoughts on Tua after going against him for 2 days?
Rightfully deserved a contract, man. He's been leading this program for so long, and I'm happy for him. As the injuries that he overcame, guys always got a thing for guys to overcome the doubters, man. When he got hurt, a lot of people didn't think he was going to make it back. Fought his way back to be a top quarterback in this league, and I'm super grateful to be able to have competed against him on the field, played against him a couple times. But they got a special guy leading their team, and he lead the offense pretty nice.
Great impressions of the offensive line.
For Miami?
Yeah, for Miami.
I think they had a good mix of guys. They physical, they fast, and I think they do a really, really good job in their run game of giving us different looks and just really kind of unorthodox things sometimes that it really challenge your principles and the things you got to do to be able to stop the run. So, they do a good job, and I like how they rotated their guys and gave everybody a good look that has helped us on the defensive side to where you just don't hone in on one guy. And playing them for a couple years is good to see some of the other guys step up, grow up, and have bigger roles in the offense. So that's always good when you see maturity from players that you watched over the years. So I think they got a really, really good group, and highly respect those dudes, and grateful for the work.
Grady, a couple from me. How much are you expecting to play Friday, and how has it been to really see the competition, whether that's Ruke or maybe some of the defensive backs battles back there?
Friday take care of itself. However go, I'll be ready. But at the end of the day, man, to see these guys get out here, get to work like Ruke, Brandon, and Zion guys, young guys like that we brought in to get some pro work against other guys outside of practice, it's good to see them respond, and proud of them how they compete. At the end of the day, when you're a rookie, man, I always tell them the best thing you can do is go out there, give 100% effort, and don't make the same mistake twice, not a lot of MAs and stuff like that, and control the controllables, so I'm definitely excited as this preseason goal, and to see them go out there on the field and compete, do what they got to do, but it's also fun being out here with them and going to get some competition.
Grady, kind of on topic, you've been here long enough.
the equipment staff, how important are they to you guys and what you do on your weekly basis, practice, game days, and all that?
Man, without them, it don't roll. From setting up practice to make sure everybody got their pads right. They know what everybody need on a personal basis. Like if they got your back, if you forget something, it's just they're the people who make all the necessary steps for the what ifs. Somebody they forget some, because some things that can't be accounted for, but they always got your back. You know what I'm saying? From the less serious thing, from a messed up shoestring, to the most serious thing, like communication for the quarterback from the coach calling plays. So they are essential. That's why it's such a big job. They got just as much team meetings as we do on the operation, a day-to-day basis. They do a lot of work that people really don't understand that they do behind the scenes, but it doesn't go, underappreciated. And our staff is amazing, and every staff does, especially when you get to the NFL level and high, D1 level, big-time football. Any level, to be honest, because without the equipment staff, it's just make it real hard. You know what I'm saying? As a pro, you can get spoiled sometimes, having your pads dry every day. Jerseys on your shoulder pad, pants, pads in your pants. It can spoil you, but you got to remember when you was in middle school, mama had to wash your stuff every day. You know what I'm saying? Coach, you can only get what helmet you got in the back for. You know what I'm saying? Youth league. You know what I'm saying? All the effort, but these guys take care of us every day, man. They spoil us.
I want to say Ruke mentioned earlier, it's kind of annoyed you with how much he's around you. From your stance, what's he like in that room?
He said it. He said, he just annoying dude. Like, no, man, that's my little brother, man. He good. We sit next to each other while we've been down here and just chopping up, switching, talking information, just helping him try to adjust. But at the end of the day, man, he did a lot of work on his own to get to where he had to become a second-round draft pick. He gonna have a great career, and he just learned like any other rookie. Keep stacking the days, control what you can, and at the end of the day, he gonna show why they picked him real high, man. But I'm super happy to have him here, and willing to pour whatever knowledge I have that can help him. But he got high standards for himself, and I'm sure he gonna be all right.
Clemson Bond, right?
Clemson Bond for sure. But any guy that come in, man, I enjoy spending time with. And but definitely got that Tiger bond.
Ruke, first off, man, obviously your second joint practice of being a pro. What's this experience been like so far for you?
It's been fun. They don't do this in college. Get some work against other teams, and it's good to get a new look every here and there. Just learning from the vets and seeing how they approach it. And I try to take that into my own routine as well. But I'm having a lot of fun out here in this heat.
Take me through the communication that goes on between you guys up front, communicating with linebackers. Those important, but going against a totally different team. Mm-hmm. What's that communication been like for you guys?
Just constantly communicating, from the linebackers talking to the D-line talking to the linebackers communicating with the secondary. As a defense, you all have to be on the same page for it to work like a well-oiled machine, So we're just always talking, communicating what we see in the backfield, tips and tricks, that they can give to us to help us play faster.
Ruke, how has practice been as far as kind of battling it out for playing time? I know, you kind of figured that out in the preseason games and whatnot, but kind of position group battles dealing with yourself, trying to get out there and get more reps. What is that like?
It's fun, any room with a lot of bodies, man, that's the room that I want to be in, because that brings the best out of you, it brings out competition. Everybody's competing for a spot, and, I got to go out there and do my own job and solidify my role, and I'm going to do that to the best of my abilities.
And we talked to Michael yesterday. He talked about, how Kirk's mentoring him. Like, have you kind of gotten that same thing from, like, Grady and David out there?
Definitely. Grady and David, man, I be wearing Grady out. I sit next to Grady sometimes, and I'm just always asking him questions in his ear, like, hey, tell me this, tell me that, because, I just want to learn from him, especially a guy that's been in the league, and not just been in the league, but has done it well at a high level for years on years, and I have the opportunity to have two of those guys in my room. Come on, you think I'm not about to ask a lot of questions?
And I think the D-line did 2 days out here.
Did really good. We got some good work in. We came out here, competed against a great team, very fast offense, so that makes us play faster. But I think we did really well out there.
I know it's just a preseason game, but you're going to dress up, go into an NFL stadium, get through that whole process. What are you anticipating that's going to be like, and how do you kind of learn from that as you get to the regular season?
I think it's just going to feel like a preseason. Anything with a game is a game to me. So I'm coming there with that hard hat game-like mentality. I'm going to have those jittery, those nerves ready to go out there and play my first NFL game. But, I'm really excited. And, my coaches and my teammates, they've done a great job in preparing me.
You talked about this being new for you, these joint practices. I know it's only been a couple days, but what has been your biggest takeaway that you've learned that, maybe the normal practices up at Flowery Branch you didn't know or weren't aware of?
Not too much of a difference. You know, it's still the same work you get in the trenches. You know, you're just seeing different looks and different schemes. So it's pretty much what it is.
Did anything surprise you about joint practices? This is your first?
Not really. It's really what I expected. I'll be watching a lot of videos, so I don't watch the video on everything you can imagine.